Abraham Lincoln. He was born February 12, 1809, in Hardin County, Kentucky. He lived and worked on a farm. This is the type of house he would have grown up in. When he was 9 years old, his mother died of tremoltal, a type of milk sickness. She was only 34 years old. A few months after Nancy's death, Thomas, her husband, married Sarah Bush Johnston, a Kentucky widow with 3 children of her own.
This is the type of school where Abe would have gone. He only received about 18 months of formal education, in which he did a few days or weeks at a time. After, Abraham Lincoln struck out on his own, making a living in manual labor. He was known for his skill in wielding an axe and early on made a living splitting wood for fire and rail fencing. Later, he worked in a store in New Salem, Illinois. He was the shopkeeper, postmaster, and eventually became the general store owner. In 1832, in the Black Hawk War between the United States and Native Americans, the volunteers in Abe's area elected him to be their captain. He saw no combat, but he made lots of political connections.
Lincoln was elected to Illinois state legislature in 1834 as a member of the Whig Party. Around this time, he decided to become a lawyer. He met Anne Rutledge. Before they had a chance to be engaged, however, a wave of typhoid fever came over New Salem, and sadly, Anne died at the age of 22.
Lincoln spent 8 years in Illinois legislature. He held seats in various Illinois counties. He served a single term in the U.S. House of Representatives from 1847 through 1849. He was the lone Whig from the state of Illinois, so he found few political allies. In November 4th, 1842, he married Mary Todd.
They had 4 boys, but however, only Robert survived to adulthood. In 1858, he ran against Stephen Douglas for senator. In his nomination acceptance speech for Senate, he criticized Douglas, the Supreme Court, and President Buchanan for promoting slavery and declared a house divided cannot stand. Unfortunately, he lost.
The debate with Douglas earned him the Republican nomination for president in 1860. He won the presidency, but before his inauguration in March of 1861, 7 southern states had seceded from the Union, which led to the Civil War.
There was a Union victory at Antietam on September 22, 1862, when Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant. Though Abraham Lincoln felt African Americans were not equal to whites, he believed the American founders intended that all men were created with certain inalienable rights, leading him to write the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1, 1863. He won re-election in 1864.
Unfortunately, his second presidency was cut short when he was assassinated on April 15, 1865, by well-known actor and Confederate sympathizer John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. He was taken from the theater to Peterson House across the street and laid in a coma for 9 hours before dying the next morning. His body lay in the state capitol before a funeral train took him back to his final resting place in Springfield.